Happy Tuesday. We're back. Probably a shorter video today because we want to be straight to the point. Practically, our family is in an awesome spot. So thank you for praying. We're trying to just get in normal rhythms and just kind of, it's not like a giving up or like, forget it. We're just going to do this. But that's almost the mentality we had like last Friday. Like wanted to go out with friends and wanted to go to a restaurant. And usually like for the past year, we just haven't really done that because of Cade and what happens if he gets, somebody's really sick there or this food's bad or something, that he just don't want it to get him sick. It was like, let's go to Chewy's. That's awesome. And we did, and it was awesome. We had 10 kids and 6 adults there. We took over the place. So it was a blast. So we've been trying to do things like that, and it's been fun going to church more. A lot of times I wasn't, one of us would always stay home with Cade, but we're just trying to go to church. And we've had the rhythm of going to church for the past year. Don't you think we're not going to church? But sometimes he's just not doing well. We don't know where his counts are, so we'd have church at home while one of us would go, and we're just trying to be united as a family and doing more things together. So that's where we're at as a family. Practically, there's really one thing on my heart for you to pray for this week, so I'll try and keep it simple, and that's for Cade's body is recovering this week, so he's doing really well, and I want his body, aka the life of God, to kill every cancer cell in his lungs. That's where my eyes are targeted into. That's where I'm praying. That's where I'm focusing. Is Lord, would you heal Cade's lungs? Would you give him new lungs? And that's may sound intense, but it's just the cry of our heart. It's what we want to pray for. And it's what we want you to pray for as well. So thank you for praying for our family and all the other things. There's a lot of people that watch these videos that are just gifted in prayer. So I'm so thankful for you that you take time and pray for really hours for our family. But if you could take some time this week, as Cade doesn't have treatment until this next Monday because it got pushed back this week, would you pray that the cancer cells in his lungs die and that his body regenerates and that just, it's just his body is healthy. That's what we want, and that's what we're praying for.
I think it's interesting. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and
I did not know that.
Really, we got an Amazon box the other day that said it, and
see that.
Eden and I were listening to a podcast, and it had a preview for it or whatever. Not a preview. What am I trying to say? Anyway, it was kind of like when I heard that, I'm like, I don't want any more awareness. I'm super heightened aware, but it was the Lord, I just feel like I don't want the enemy or anything in life to be able to rob the fact that we have walked through. Now we're going into week 34 of this treatment with a son, and to see how well he's doing, and to not miss the opportunity to just be thankful that we've made it this far and that he's done really well. And I was talking to someone who didn't really know the story. We saw them briefly in the mall, and just trying to give, it's how do you take the last 9 months and give someone a 2-minute synopsis of it? I probably way overshared. It's typical, but I just was I was so struck talking to her, wow, we did this. God did this. And we had some hard days, but even those hard days, they were just days, and they passed, and then Cade's running around again, ramming carts, dropping carts into his sisters around the kitchen, and just realizing God carried us through. And it was when we were sitting at dinner with all those people, I was looking at Cade, and he's he was eating so many tortilla chips. Can we also talk about the 10 pounds he ate? But he was eating all these tortilla chips, and I was just thinking God, we don't even know the things that the Lord has spared Cade from in these treatments. I was looking at Pinterest it was a random article, and it was what I would tell someone whose child was just diagnosed with cancer. And he was talking about his daughter's treatment for leukemia that she had, and there's a lot of overlap, in chemos that we had. And he was talking about some of the side effects she had. And as I went through the list, I was like, man, we didn't have that. I remember I will never forget probably meeting with those oncologists initially, hearing every side effect of every drug, and my body, I was literally shaking, like I couldn't even hold my body together, just hearing what they were saying was going to be given to my son. And yet to think about the things we've had, and just to know, like, we don't even know. One of my friends even said that the other week, like, we don't even know what God is doing and has done on the inside of Cade and
is going to do.
And I feel like that's not just for Cade, that's for all of us. Like, I was reading some commentary about every day waking up, that we don't even realize the kindnesses of God that are right before us every day, that happen so repetitively that we just take for granted. And I just feel like it's like prophetic for all of us, not just for Cade, but it's like just a picture for us that God is so kind. And I know I don't want to miss being aware of that. I don't want to miss like the opportunity to even just sit here and look back and let one scan ruin the victory that we've had, or put seeds of distrust in my heart, because God doesn't deserve that, first of all, and that's not been my reality. You know, he's been so abundantly faithful. And I was looking back at some pictures tonight on my phone from September of last year when we went to an apple orchard with Cade's preschool class, and it was a picture of Haven and Cade, and you know, it was like seeing that, and I didn't have any drop of bitterness. It wasn't like, I'm so mad he didn't get to finish his year. Not to say that I haven't been in that place and I haven't processed through that, but just realizing, like, wow, Lord, like, you're even taking this sting of bitterness away. And I feel like ever since the past scans, you and I both have had just like a different view with Cade of just being really thankful for every day. Yeah, and instead of being like feeling shortchanged, I feel just really thankful. I'm so thankful to be his mom. I'm so thankful that we get to walk this journey with him. Like, I'm thankful for we took him to a park today and he was a crazy man, and just being like, Cade is so alive. And
been making him take 1,000 shots on the basketball goal each night.
Yeah, he's getting more athletic too.
Mr. Abernathy, you'll be proud of me for that. He'll be to camp pretty soon.
But I think we're both just really thankful, and we want to keep that. When I get into the place of thankfulness, like, the enemy can't find me there, and discouragement can't find me, and so I just really want to stay there within those lines of thankfulness. And I was reading today in Psalm 37, and I love that psalm, and it's one that I've returned to, and then I get sick of it because I'm like, I need something new. But I was returning there today in a different version. It was actually in the Passion Translation, but in the original it talks about, I have been young and now I am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken, and I've never seen his children begging for bread. And in this translation it says basically the same thing, just, I was once young, but now I'm old, and not once have I found a lover of God forsaken by him, nor have any of their children gone hungry. And like, when I read that today, I was like, man, each of my children haven't gone hungry this year in terms of even like soul or emotional, and that is just based on the kindness of God, the faithfulness of God to show up in the middle of a situation that should be impossible, where we all are walking out. Like, we should be traumatized. And I'm not saying, I'm sure there are things we're going to have to deal with on the other side, but like to realize, like, wow, I think I'm doing pretty well. Like, I think I feel peace and I feel joy is...
Sounds like God.
Yeah, I'm like amazed by it every time I think thoughts like that. Like, I'm like, wow.
That's kind of what I was thinking when you were talking. It was like, that kind of sounds like God. And like how even like he took his people in the Bible, and you know, he brought them into trial. But like, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are with me. You know, it's like he's walking with you, and just know that this day passes. You know, if you're in something really hard, and we've had some really hard days, there are people that have had much harder days than us, though. And we've read about it. We've, read some of those books, and people that lost loved ones or whatever, we're so thankful our son's still alive. And so we recognize those that have gone through much more difficult things than we have. But one thing we have learned is that this day does pass, and we don't just look to the next day. It helps us be present with God in the moment right now, because tomorrow's got enough worries. We don't know what the next 3 or 4 weeks look like. Those are going to be some really intense times for our family. We, luckily or hopefully we'll be celebrating, but still we have to go through more scans. We've got to go through more treatment, and it's just it is what it is, but we want to be present with God right now, and God is doing something in the moment. And so this moment, asking you to pray.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, we're at 10 minutes.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for
So much
being
for a
willing to
short
watch
video.
this and for fasting with us again. It's,
Yeah.
I hope that it's giving fruit in your life, and I know for us it's just such a blessing to have you guys with us. So thank you, and we will see you next Tuesday, which will be day 2 of a pretty intense chemo. So you can be praying for that in advance, that his body would be ready for that.
It's true. So new lungs, treatment starts week from today, basically. Bye.
Thanks.